right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. The first story that I've got for you guys today, Martin Fitzwater dropped a recent physique update on his Instagram story where he looks like he's in really good shape for somebody that would be so far out from the Olympia. We'd be around 18 weeks out right now. So there's been a lot of rumors going around about the potential of Martin competing in the Dubai Pro, which we're now 2 weeks away from. It's important to keep in mind, though, Martin doesn't need to qualify for the Olympia. He's already qualified. He qualified early with the Prague Pro last year, late last year. And I don't know. I mean, Martin does look really lean. He looks like he's in really good shape in this update. I just don't know if it looks like 2 weeks out lean. And I don't really know what the source of all these rumors is because Martin has said nothing directly about it himself, about him doing the Dubai show. And I guess maybe the only reason, or the main reason he would do it, if he is going to do it, would be maybe to restore a little bit of the momentum going into the Olympia. Because, again, he doesn't need to qualify. I know that he was disappointed with his Pittsburgh Pro performance. And maybe just being qualified alone isn't satisfactory enough for him, and he wants to maybe regain a little bit of that momentum going into the show. And that would be, the Dubai show is going to be interesting. Behruz Tabani is going to be a guy that you wouldn't get to see Martin typically stand next to. Neckzilla, same thing. Nathan Diasha, same thing. They're all big names. I don't know that we've seen Martin compete against any of those guys. And if he were able to beat them, it would be restoring that momentum for sure. But again, to me, this just doesn't necessarily look like 2 weeks out. He looks better than 18 weeks out, which is what he is from the Olympia. But I don't know if he quite looks like he would be 2 weeks out here. Now, some people are saying this is like confirmation that he's doing Dubai because he looks so good in this update. I don't know. I'm curious to know what you guys think in the comments below. Based on this update, do you think this is confirmation that we're going to see Martin compete in Dubai? Or do you think it's just an 18 weeks out Olympia update where he looks really good? Now, next up in the news, another thing that a lot of people are talking about right now is this Olympia pose down. I guess they call it the Battle for the Olympia. This was on the Olympia TV YouTube channel where they featured Samson Dowda, Derek Lunsford, and of course Brandon Curry, 3 Mr. Olympia champs. Obviously, we don't see Hadi Chupin there. We don't see Nick Walker there. And honestly, it's so far out from the Olympia right now with these guys. I really don't think this gives us much clarity as to who's looking to be the front runner going into the Olympia this year. We just saw Derek and Samson go head-to-head just a few months ago at the Arnold Classic where Derek came out victorious. Just last month, we saw Derek come out victorious in Pittsburgh. We know that, of course, Brandon Curry is prepping for the Masters Mr. Olympia. I thought Brandon actually looked great here, standing next to these guys. And, of course, we saw Brandon at the Arnold as well, not quite as in the mix as these two were. But I think it is an interesting preview. Again, I would really like to see Hadi Chupin attend one of these things and see him back in the mix with these guys because, like I said, we've seen these guys on stage relatively recently together. For me, Hadi is just the main guy missing from this equation. And, of course, we talked about in the last video, we just saw a posing video from Samson, a full posing video from Samson where he's weighing 328 pounds. And I think that's why in the video with Derek and Brandon, so many of the comments were saying just how massive Samson looks standing next to them in comparison. It's because he's probably, 70 pounds heavier than Derek? I mean, if you'd imagine Derek is, let's say he's 260 here, that Samson would still be 70 pounds heavier than him. I don't know what Brandon Curry is weighing, but again, I do think Brandon looked really impressive in this video. But honestly, when I was watching this, nothing really about this video gave me any other indication of who might be the front runner going into the Olympia this year. I still feel like it's any man's game at this point. I think that title is 100% up for grabs this year. It could be any of these guys, Samson, Nick, Derek, Hadi. Who knows? I mean, maybe even Brandon Curry still has a shot at the title. I personally think that he's kind of in a stage in his career now where he's probably outside of that conversation, and I think that's probably why he's doing the Masters Olympia. I feel like he might retire after that and go out on kind of a high note because I think he'll likely win that show. I don't think there's going to be very, very stiff competition. I don't think there's going to be any other Mr. Olympia champs in that lineup based on what we've heard. No Kai, no Phil. I think that's going to be Brandon's show. But I'm curious to hear what you guys think in the comments down below. Did watching this kind of Olympia preview battle change your opinion at all, or did you gain anything from this as far as who is your front runner going into the Olympia this year? Did this do anything for you in regards of your early Olympia predictions, or is it just too early to really tell? Now, next up in the news, a couple more physique updates from Regan Grimes at about a day or so out from the show. These are over the past couple of days. And I wanted to clarify, the Toronto Pro is one of these shows that it's going to be a Sunday show. So it's tomorrow. So if you're wondering why you haven't seen any Toronto Pro coverage today on Saturday, that would be why. They did the athlete check-ins today. There were some videos of those as well. And personally, I don't really understand why any of the shows would rather do a Sunday pro show than a Saturday pro show. I guess I'm assuming they're probably giving the amateurs the stage today. But you would think for the pro show that runs later than the amateur show, I think more people would be able to stay up late and attend a night show like that on a Saturday night where they don't have work in the morning versus a Sunday. So I don't understand why some promoters pick Sunday over Saturday, but for whatever reason they did. And again, this show, there's not really a whole lot to talk about going into it. I wish there were more. I mean, Sas Harati hasn't posted any physique updates. So really all we have to go on is what we're seeing from Regan. I saw a physique update from Eric Janicki, but I really think this is going to be the Regan and Sas show rematch number 3. And all we really have to go on is the 2 other times we saw them compete against each other, which Regan took the top spot both those times. Except for New York. He didn't win the show, but he still placed ahead of Sauce. And I still think my prediction is that Regan's going to win this show. And I really don't know why we're not seeing more guys that, competed in, Cali or Legion or any of these shows do this Toronto show. So it led to, honestly, I think kind of a disappointing lineup here. And I saw that Tony O'Burton, I saw him comment on a post where he said he was actually going to do the Dubai show. So I'm really thinking Dubai might shape up to be the next show that we get a really pretty decent lineup at. Now, next weekend, we do have the M Pro Classic in Spain, but I haven't heard anybody that has confirmed they're doing that show that's like a relatively big name. I guess we'll find out on Monday. The competitor list should come out for that show on Monday, but I haven't heard any of these guys that we've been talking about say they're doing that show. Sounds like most people are, saving whatever gas they have left in the tank to do that Dubai show. But Toronto is tomorrow. It's just not been a whole lot of build-up for it. Not the deepest lineup, not a whole lot to talk about, and I think Regan is going to win it again. Now, next up in the news, a lot of people seem to be talking about these updates from Ramon Dino. They seem to be very impressed by the progress that he has apparently made. And I honestly think that Ramon has a legit, genuine shot at still winning that Classic Physique Olympia title. It's kind of similar to men's open bodybuilding in the sense that I feel like that title is really still up for grabs. It does seem like Mike Sommerfeld is a heavy favorite going into the show, but I really feel like kind of the mishap with Ramon at last year's Olympia just came down to him being off. And I think if he's on versus Mike Sommerfeld, I think he's still got a really good shot at potentially winning. Because we didn't get to see him at the Arnold Classic against Mike. So Mike did win the Arnold. He was second at the Olympia. But the Olympia was the last time we saw him and Ramon go head-to-head. And I really just feel like Ramon's issue there was that he was off. If he's on, I think it's a different story. And based on these updates, you can see he's made improvements to his back. It looks like he's added some size, even though I don't think that's where he's lacking. I think it was the conditioning, and I think the posing still kind of lets him down, and that's what let him down at last year's Olympia. He was just kind of flat and, like I said, just seemed off. So I don't really think, adding a bunch of size is necessarily the improvement that he needs to make. But I do think Ramon has the structure, and he already has the size to potentially still win the Olympia. So I was impressed with this update, and I still feel like Ramon is really in that conversation. I would not count him out as a potential favorite to win this year. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And the final story that I have for you guys today, I wanted to end on these physique updates from Nick Walker, who would also be 18 weeks out from the Olympia. And I think, like, going back to the first story with Martin, I feel like Nick and Martin look very comparable conditioning-wise in these updates. And again, Nick is a legit 18 weeks out. He's not doing anything between now and the Olympia, any shows between now and the Olympia. And I think him and Martin are very comparable, which again is why I say I don't feel like Martin is 2 weeks out. He could be, but like I said, I don't even know where the rumors that Martin is doing this Dubai Pro are really coming from, because Martin has said nothing about it. But the other reason I wanted to show these updates is because Nick obviously was excluded from that Olympia pose down that we talked about earlier in the video. And I think Nick looks really impressive here. I would have liked to see Nick in that pose down, even though, like I said, we kind of just saw all these guys on stage together. Even though we didn't get to see Nick and Samson on stage together, it would have been cool to see them in the Olympia pose down. But we just saw Nick and Derek. We saw Derek and Samson. I would have liked to see Nick in that Olympia thing as well. But Nick looks really impressive here. I think Nick has a legit shot at top 3 at the Olympia this year. I really do. Because the way the Olympia title has been changing hands over the last few years, and the results have been, pretty surprising from year to year, I think that, well, obviously, Nick cracking the top 3 would mean that one of these Mr. Olympias, Hottie, Derek, Samson, would be forced out of that top 3. And that would be a really surprising result. But with the way the Olympia has been going with these surprising winners, I could totally see that happening. Now, who would be the guy that gets pushed out of the top 3? I think is anybody's guess. I have no idea. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What are your predictions for the Olympia this year? Where do you think Nick would fall compared to Brandon, Hottie, Derek, Samson? Let me know in the comments below. That's going to wrap it up for the video today, guys. I hope you did, in fact, enjoy it. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, click that bell notification icon if you have not already. And as always, I love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power signing out. All right, guys, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy the content. Also, check out my Instagram at Nick Strength Power, my Facebook page, which is simply Nick Strength and Power, my secondary YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Vlogs, for vlogs and bonus content that you will not see on this channel. And consider subscribing to my third YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Pokemon, which is all things Pokemon and trading card games, completely unrelated to this channel. So if you're into that, give that one a look. And all links to merchandise and social media will be in the description box below. If you guys want a Nick Strength and Power t-shirt, that will be in the Shopify link below. Have a great day.